You must become lucha.
Hola!
Now there's been an imposter Americano running around this place.
From comedy angle to national hero, the Grande Americano versus Grande Americano story is insane. And today we're going to go through the entire timeline from the humble beginnings all the way to the end. And this story has so many twists and turns. It's insane. One of, if not the best wrestling story in recent memories. We start with Chad Gable just unable to beat the LWO.
The 619 lands.
So he gets a little frustrated and he goes to Adam Pearce.
And I will dispel all rumors that I have any trouble with luchadors.
He asks Adam Pearce for his strongest luchador.
So I want you to find me the best you got. The single best luchador walking this planet and send him my way.
What's this? Look at it, this beauty. The Penta driver.
And he loses, and so Chad Gable, well...
But I'm man enough to admit when I have a problem. I lost to Penta last week. What are we going to do here?
So Chad Gable is desperate, so he goes to...
I've already gone to a man that knows a thing or two about lucha libre.
Dominic Mysterio.
An intelligent man with a mustache to match.
Who is the son of Rey Mysterio, one of the luchadors that was beating him. But Dominic Mysterio claims to be the king of the luchadors.
Help me out.
Fine. No guy who can help you out.
Dominic, in return, gives him a number. And this now sets Chad Gable on a quest we pick up in Mexico.
So you're the guy? You're the one that's gonna help me beat the luchadors?
As he searches for the person that is on the other line of that number.
You cannot fight what you don't understand. You must become lucha.
We don't actually see what's in the box, but we can assume based on who appears suddenly.
What the hell is that?
There's a new luchador in town, and that is Grande Americano before anybody knew who he was.
Did that mask say American made?
Now, it does say American made on the mask, and that was the name of Chad Gable's faction before he left for Mexico.
Well, here we are.
But Chad Gable or not, he is denying any connection with that masked luchador.
By attacking while wearing a lucha mask, so...
Wait, what?
Now, the next clip I'm going to show is one of the only instances where we actually see Chad Gable and Grande Americano together on the screen at the same time.
Stop lying about it. We all saw you out there.
So I think they only reference this clip one more time on commentary. So I think that we're supposed to just forget that it exists. From this point forward, we'll never see OG Grande Americano and Chad Gable on the screen together.
Tell me they caught that guy. This is 2 weeks in a row.
He will always kind of do the Clark Kent Superman thing. When Grande Americano is out in the ring, well, Chad Gable, something was going on where Chad Gable couldn't get out there. He's sick or something like that. He makes an excuse why they are never together in the same room.
Now, Grande Americano gave me a message, and I gotta get it to Pierce right now, so Ivy...
With everybody still accusing Chad Gable of being Grande Americano, suddenly...
El Grande Americano was raised to be the ultimate luchador.
The origin story of Grande appears.
But after being blackballed by his jealous enemy, he disappeared.
And it talks about how he was a legendary luchador that was blacklisted from way back in the day.
The legend has returned.
Haters will say it was AI, and some of those haters are the luchadors that are in WWE, specifically Rey Mysterio. He takes offense to Chad Gable making a mockery of Lucha Libre, and he challenges him.
Rey Mysterio against El Grande Americano at WrestleMania.
Now, this is where real life actually starts affecting the overall storyline. Now, spoiler alert, it is revealed that Chad Gable is Grande Americano, the OG Grande Americano. And so, honestly, if this match at WrestleMania would have happened, there's a high probability that Rey would have won and just taken off the mask and revealed Chad Gable, and then we would have moved on with our lives. But Rey Mysterio gets injured on the SmackDown before WrestleMania, which changes everything.
That I'm not medically cleared to compete tonight.
And now we pivot to Rey Fénix, who has just been introduced like a month prior. And now he's going to take on Grande Americano.
540.
This is all speculation on my part, but Triple H has been known to like put feuds on hold. If something interrupts a feud, like an injury, he will literally stop the feud and pick it up a couple months later. So by Rey getting injured right here, they might have put a complete hold on ending the Grande Americano storyline. While this is all happening at WrestleMania, another big thing happens.
WWE is announcing the acquisition of Mexican lucha libre promotion AAA.
Now they own a wrestling promotion that uses luchadors. They have their own luchador. Everything's kind of falling into place. But real life is about to intervene again. So Chad Gable and Grande Americano are having issues again with Penta.
Watching your useless brother Fénix drop his first match to El Grande Americano.
Oh!
Chad Gable keeps poking at Penta. Poke, poke, poke.
Shut up.
Maybe I'll rip that stupid mask off your head and show everybody the ridiculous. Hey, stop!
He's still not over the fact that Chad Gable can't defeat luchadors. El Grande Americano can, but Chad Gable can't.
Look at this now. What the? Oh my goodness!
And as this is going on, Chad Gable actually suffers an actual real life injury. And so they write him out of story with Penta, the guy he's feuding with. Now, coincidentally, if you look in the back of this clip, you see a man known as Ludwig Kaiser. This is Ludwig Kaiser's last ever known WWE appearance, actually, on TV. He's important. We'll talk about him later, but just know that Ludwig Kaiser watched all this happen, and then we never see him again on WWE TV to this day, actually. But that said, Chad Gable is now injured, and we find out later that he is Grande Americano, so that then must mean that Grande Americano is now out of action too. But remember, WWE owns AAA. They want their guy in there. And that is going to be Grande Americano. Even though Grande Americano's injured. But how? How? Well, you see, the next week on Raw.
How do you guys plan to move forward without your leader?
Believe me,
Grande Americano appears. And if you look at him, he's a little taller. First, there's a little bit of an alliance, but eventually they just come to say, no, that's not the real Grande Americano.
It's clearly Ludwig Kaiser.
Chad Gable was the one behind El Grande Americano.
All right. Listen, we're not here to talk about El Grande.
It's a little wibbly wobbly if I'm telling the truth, but just know that Grande Americano, a new Grande Americano, started to show himself in WWE. At first, other luchadors are upset with him because they feel he's making a mockery of lucha libre.
But you know what? You don't have this. Soy luchador, pero tú es basura, güey.
However, we will soon find out that is far from the case. Before that, though, in America, he does introduce two other people to be part of his faction.
And earlier on tonight, we saw some assistance from two additional El Grande Americanos.
Ryo and Bravo.
Okay, so that's what's happening in America. And it's important to know what's happening in America is not what is happening in Mexico, because Grande Americano has been presented as a heel in the United States. He goes down to Mexico in his first match. He is presented as a heel, but he is soon embraced and adopted by the Mexican people. His first match in Mexico is July 25th, 2025. He is facing Octagón Jr. All right, Octagón Jr. is a babyface, but El Grande Americano, the new one, will beat him. And then he says something along the lines of, in Spanish, mind you, that mask doesn't belong to you, on the microphone in front of the crowd. That is a huge deal, because we gotta take a bunny trail here, because Octagón Jr., there's another Octagon,
founding father and biggest hater of AAA. In 2014, once Antonio Peña was not in charge of AAA and feeling severely unappreciated and claiming the promotion owed him years of unpaid wages, Octagón shockingly quit.
And he feels that he was slighted by AAA promotion. So, a bunch of years ago, Octagón Jr. was signing autographs, and on live TV, Octagón, the original Octagón, went to the autograph signing.
Esa máscara no le corresponde. Esta máscara no le corresponde.
And pulled the mask off of Octagón Jr., which is very, very disrespectful in lucha libre, while the cameras were rolling, and he said, that mask doesn't belong to you. That told the audience that this Grande Americano actually knows the history of lucha libre, of AAA, because Chad Gable's Grande Americano was kind of like a parody of lucha libre. All Chad Gable's Grande did was gracias, gracias, and como está. But this one went so far to actually learn Spanish.
Y segundo, y más importante, soy mexicano.
Become fluent in Spanish and even sing Solito Lindo. It's like a song that is very much associated with Mexican pride. Suddenly, the people started cheering him, and every single time Grande Americano appeared, well, he just demonstrated more so and more so that he was one of them.
El orgullo mexicano no es el color de tu piel.
And the people, they were on board.
Grande, hermanos, ya eres mexicano.
This Grande Americano, this one loves lucha libre. And, well, this one's obviously not Mexican. Doesn't matter. Some of the biggest names in lucha libre aren't Mexican. Conan wasn't Mexican. Vampiro wasn't Mexican. Now we have a guy who allegedly has German descent. Well, you know what? He's not Mexican either, but there is an old saying that you can find on a mural that they painted of Grande Americano that says a Mexican can be born anywhere the hell he pleases. So, this Grande Americano, with all the effort he's put in, he gets a pass. All right, so now in America, he's still appearing though. So now we go to the Royal Rumble, the 2026 Royal Rumble, and we have pretty much the last big story beat on the American side of things, where we have Grande Americano, the tall one, he's in the ring, and then suddenly,
read the board, it says the original of Grande Americano.
The OG Grande Americano's music hits, and he comes out. He gets in the ring. We have the Spider-Man meme where they point at each other, and now, well, there are two Grande Americanos. They will get eliminated, and nobody wins. From this point forward, almost nothing that happens in America really impacts the storyline in Mexico. But back in Mexico, That's where all the big story beats are happening. We have this tournament. It's called the Rey de Reyes.
The King of Kings is an annual tournament in which they receive a sword as a prize.
And that means the King of Kings. And it goes into qualifying matches. And then you enter into a fatal four-way. And the winner gets the Rey de Reyes sword, right? Okay. And then this year, you're also going to be a #1 contender. Well, Grande Americano is going to try to qualify. But on his way to qualify, that's when the OG reemerges in AAA. He attacks Grande and he handcuffs him, thereby taking his place because, well, the contract just reads Grande Americano. So now Grande Americano, the OG, takes the place of the tall one, and he wins and qualifies, taking Grande Americano's spot. But we go a week or two later, we have Pimpinella, who is a big deal, a legend in AAA.
¿Cómo estás? Quesadillas con queso o sin queso.
Pimpinella, as a reporter, goes to OG Grande Americano. Pimpinella is scheduled to compete also for a qualifying match in the Rey de Reyes tournament. And Pimpinella goes and starts poking the bear of OG and asking questions like, is there cheese in the quesadilla? The cheese quesadilla? Stuff like that, but in Spanish, to kind of prove that this Grande Americano is a fake.
¿No entiendes? No bueno.
Well, OG Grande Americano doesn't really understand what's happening. So he gets mad, attacks Pimpinella, destroys Pimpinella. Pimpinella's friend is the other Grande Americano. He runs to help Pimpinella. Pimpinella has to be stretchered out. The beatdown was so bad. And then Pimpinella says, Grande, you take my spot.
Sí, tú eres la persona indicada. Hazlo por mí, hazlo por México, por favor.
So now Grande then enters into the qualifying match and wins. So now both Grande Americanos are in the Rey de Rey tournament. The other two people were La Parca and Santo Escobar. And, well, the winner is going to be Grande Americano, not the OG.
Change. You're not the same Grande Americano.
From behind, that's the original El Grande Americano.
OG will attack and steal the swords.
He took it.
Just kind of one-upping each other. That is important to the story. Grande Americano, not OG, Grande Americano has started a relationship with the ring announcer. That's very important. But just so you know, this is real. They're going to soccer games, football games. They're just doing public life in Mexico, which is further making people fall in love with Grande. Look, he actually likes being in Mexico. Now, OG Grande Americano is going to have a match with Octagón Jr. Remember, Octagón Jr. was the guy that Tall Grande said, that mask doesn't belong to you, a long time ago during his first match. Well, now it comes full circle. We have OG Grande Americano facing Octagón Jr., and he actually takes the mask off of Octagón.
Still has the ankle trapped. Oh my God. This is disgusting.
Just like the actual Octagón did way back when. And so now everybody's booing him. And there's a comedian, a blind comedian, actually blind, can't see. He's in the audience. The ring announcer interviews him, and he says,
Lo que no me tiene gusto es ese chaparro americano que hasta yo veo.
I'm blind, but even I can see that guy's not Mexican. That makes OG super upset. Take the comedian out and put him in an ankle lock. He's attacking this blind comedian. Well, the ring announcer, she tries to stop OG. And then OG starts to get mad at her, and he kind of starts stalking her as if he's about to attack her. Well, that brings out Grande Americano because that's his girlfriend. And he goes livid. He attacks like crazy. When it's all said and done, Grande Americano says, this is it. We cannot coexist. Mask versus mask match.
You and me. Mask versus mask.
We then go to the following week, and Grande Americano's like, no, I don't want to do it because of her. And he basically gets the ring announcer fired.
And his second condition, participates still in that match, that Andrea Basarte must leave AAA now.
And she says to him, like to her boyfriend, hey, do it for me. Do it for us.
If this is what is required so you can take his mask, let it be.
I don't want to stand in the way. I will leave the promotion. You face your foe. And so now it's set. And there's a stipulation that they cannot touch each other until the actual event or the match is called off. Though that's only in the Mexico, not the U.S. They can fight in the U.S., but again, it's just so tame in the U.S. There will have one more confrontation where they do get into fisticuffs, but Rey Mysterio becomes the GM, and he said, no, we're still going to do this. Also, the Creed brothers from American Made, they start appearing. And then there's also another duo that have masks that look like the Creed brothers, but in masks, but we don't know who they are. Anyways, they start appearing, but they're not that important to the storyline, really. They're just kind of cannon fodder. And now the stage is set. We're gonna have a big ceremony on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday, right? In Mexico for Grande Americano. But real world intervenes.
Ludwig Kaiser has been arrested.
Remember that guy I talked about, Ludwig Kaiser? Well, he got arrested. He got arrested because he had a girlfriend and he was making out with her. Some guy in Florida, said you need to have manners, and he might have even threatened to, this is all alleged, he might have even threatened to call ICE and get the Kaiser's girlfriend deported. That's a big freaking deal. Kaiser attacked him. The guy went to press charges. Kaiser got arrested. And Gunther bailed him out, and we don't know if he can leave the country. Some people will say that Kaiser is actually the second Grande Americano. But you know what? People will say a lot of things. For all we know, Grande Americano is such good friends with Kaiser that he didn't want to leave his side while he was dealing with legal troubles. But, so for the sake of the rest of this video, we'll just pretend that Kaiser and Grande Americano, they're one and of the same. But nobody knows for sure because we've never seen Grande Americano without his mask. But anyways, the judge says you can leave the country because it's part of your job. And so then Grande Americano comes back to Mexico a conquering hero. Literally 24 hours ago, everything could have fallen apart, and now everything was 1,000 times better because the Mexican people, they loved him before, but now this guy is Stone Cold Steve Austin level. Because here's a dude who risked everything, his career, his livelihood, every single thing could have been in shambles. He could have got canceled. He risked it all to defend the honor of the woman he loved. And not just that, but the fact that she was threatened with being deported. So he was defending all Mexicans. Every single Mexican in the world, he was defending them as well. This guy is beyond a wrestling hero now. He's a national hero. And so that is the stage in which we walk into the mask versus mask match. And that is the story leading into the match. I'm going to tell you, boys and gals, this. This is definitely my favorite match of the last, 15 years. Probably even longer. This match, the only match I can consider as good as this, is probably Shawn Michaels' Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. I don't know which one's better. If it wasn't so recent, I would probably say this one was, because it wasn't just wrestling. It was a story. It was characters. It was real life events coming together to make the perfect storm. If this domino wouldn't have fallen, then that domino wouldn't have fallen. This was a pure comedy angle. A pure comedy angle that somehow just wouldn't die and then just became this epic war. Go watch my review. Go watch my review of the match itself, because this match, it had callbacks that if you were paying attention to the story, it amplified the match. But if you didn't know anything about why is that Pimpinella person hitting him with a guitar, you didn't have to know the reason why. But if you did, it was better. But if you didn't, it didn't matter. You could still enjoy the match in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? This was just such a picture-perfect wrestling storyline / match. Very few times do you get a good storyline and a good match. It's usually one or the other. But here we got both. There's no way this should have worked as good as it did. As good as it did. No way it should have worked. But like, props. Props to him and props to Chad Gable. Chad Gable takes off the mask and... Let's confirm it. Oh my God, it's Chad Gable! Wow. Did anybody else see that coming? Both of these men and everybody that had involved in this storyline, just absolutely great stuff. And so Chad Gable says to Grande Americano, you are now the only Grande Americano. And that is the end of the Grande versus Grande epic storyline timeline. What happens now? In my opinion, he should instantly walk up to Penta, challenge him for the IC title, because in a way, him not being able to beat Penta set him up on the path to get the mask, to put on the mask, and then, well, you already know the story from this point forward. He now knows Lucha Libre, so now he can beat Lucha Libre. All right, boys. All right, girls. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this video and the whole Grande Americano storyline as a whole. See ya, bye.